Hi, you're on the Retelling Films channel, and this is a retelling of the movie The Watchers. A girl who gets lost in the woods finds a strange house in the middle of the forest where three hermits live. Every night they are watched by mysterious creatures through a huge glass wall. The movie begins in the forest, in front of a sign with a point of no return. It is crossed by a man in a red jacket. On the run, he threatens to bring help, but confused finds himself in front of the sign again. It is late on the clock, there is a flock of birds in the sky, and the man is anxious. He tries to escape this repressed feeling in a tree, but the branch breaks treacherously. After the fall, coming to his senses, he crawls to his backpack for his knife, peering into the dangerously thickening fog. Then, something drags him underground, ignoring his helpless screams. The story shifts to the girl Mina. She works in a pet store and gets an assignment to deliver a pedigree parrot to a customer. After bringing the bird home, Mina feels sad about her mother's death, which happened exactly 15 years ago, after which she puts on a dark-coloured mourning wig and goes to a bar to meet guys under an assumed name and identity, convinced that guys don't like the real her. In the morning, the girl begins the transportation of the bird. They drive through beautiful Irish scenery, brightening the journey with occasional one-on-one conversations, smoking at a gas station, and listening to messages from his sister regarding his mother's anniversary wake. Preoccupied with such important matters, Mina does not notice a lot of announcements about missing tourists in these parts. The navigator leads the girl into a forest wilderness where the road turns into a direction and the cell phone does not catch, and even the radio transmits only interference. It is there that the car stalls. Noticing a nearby point of no return sign, Mina takes the cage and goes to check who lives nearby. Changing her mind in the process, she decides to return to the car, only to finally lose her orientation in space. Mina sees a flock of birds flying in a dense flock through a wooded area. Afterwards, the frightened girl notices a woman running, ignoring her cries for help. After chasing her, Mina reaches a small building that looks like a bunker. Spotting her at the entrance, the woman tells her to run faster if she wants to survive and starts a countdown. As soon as Mina has run in, the woman locks the door shut. There are three people inside. In addition to the grey-haired Madeline, there is a girl Ciara and a guy Daniel. Without explaining what is going on, the locals put the new girl in a row, with themselves in front of the mirrored wall. They tell her that the caretakers are coming now, they can't go into the building and they won't do anything to them. The caretakers watch people through a one-way mirrored glass every night, arriving at nightfall and leaving at dawn. Mina is asked to step forward so that the mysterious caretakers can appreciate the new girl in her full glory. In the morning, when the mirrored wall has become just a window and the bunker doors have been opened, Mina takes the bird and leaves. The others, knowing she won't make it out, easily let the girl go. Wandering through the forest, Mina sees a figure among the trees that she tries to escape from. When she sea-aims to a cliff, she sees the endless forest around her. Soon, the tired girl is found by Madeline. The woman tells her that all of them at one time tried to get out of the forest, but without success. A long stay in it causes hallucinations. Also, there are landmarks around the perimeter, signs with the inscription, "Point of no return." It's half a day's journey from them to the shelter, and there's a chance of not making it back before dark. In the evening, Ciara dances for the caretakers, while the rest of us watch DVDs on the old tube TV. The viewers are themselves participants in a kind of reality show for the mysterious caretakers. In the morning, people head out to gather supplies in the woods. Mina goes with Ciara. She talks about her husband John, who left 6 days ago for help. Also, she warns the new girl that seeing the caretakers in person can drive you crazy. Ciara shows Mina one of the dens, leading to the underground caves where the caretakers hide during the day. It turns out that she and her husband got into the bunker about 5 months ago. Later, they explain the rules to Mina. Don't look away from the mirror, don't open the door at night, always stay in the light, and stay out of the dens. The last rule, with Ciara's help, the new girl has already managed to break, and nothing was done to her for it. In the evening, Mina taps her fingers on the mirror and puts her ear to hear something outside. She goes to bed, but there is an answering knock from the other side. Madeline tells her to hold still and let herself be examined. In the afternoon, The girl goes with Daniel into the forest to check the snares. In the process, she notices a strange human figure in the forest fog. The guy has been living here for 8 months, and Mina finds it suspicious that the rules are based on Madeline's word. She distrusts the old woman and searches for like-minded people. She brings Daniel to the burrow to help her rappel to the bottom. There she finds miscellaneous junk, a newspaper from April 1992, a video camera, a child's toy and a rusty bicycle. With the help of the rope and Daniel, Mina pulls out the bicycle and the junk in its basket. As she waits for him to drop the rope, she hears a voice asking what she's doing here. A hand appears out of the darkness, but disappears in the same second, smoky from the sunlight, allowing Mina to climb out through the rope. Showing the finds to the others, Mina lies that she found them in the forest, not in the burrow where she saw the dungeon dweller. The experienced Madeline is not so easy to fool. The old woman realizes the girl is lying. Daniel connects a camera to the TV, and in the evening they set it up outside to see the caretakers. However, John, Ciara's husband, knocks on the door instead. Madeline refuses to let him in, believing it to be a trap. To remove doubts, the old woman offers Ciara a test to ask her husband something only he knows. John fails the test, but when his wife asks him to show his face to the camera, leaning into the lens, it appears to be really him. But before Ciara can open the door, something drags her husband away. It takes the camera as well, depriving people of their view of the outside. Madeline tells everyone to line up in front of the mirror, which is cracked by the impact. The caretakers express their displeasure. In the morning, Madeline and the others go to the burrow to drop off the items Mina found, to restore the status quo. In the underground darkness, something takes the bicycle. Mina experiences flashbacks from her childhood when she gets cranky on a family road trip, mimicking her mother. A mother is distracted by her naughty daughter, leading to a fatal car accident. Now, Mina rightly blames herself for her mother's death and is afraid to communicate with her sister, who saw everything with her own eyes. The girl spends her free time studying the forest, making a map of the surroundings with signs and landmarks. She fixes her knowledge on the floor of the shelter. One day Mina notices that shortly before dark, Ciara has gone to the burrow. Longing for her husband, she wants to jump down. The girls are distracted from their sad thoughts by Madeline's scream. Daniel attacked her and tied her up to leave her in the woods overnight. Daniel runs off, Ciara runs after, and Mina is left to untie the woman. Upon reaching the bunker, they see a locked door. Locked inside, the guy doesn't want to let them in. Realizing that there is no way to change his mind, Madeline leads the girl to the hiding place opposite the bunker, while Daniel and Ciara stand alone in front of the mirror, waiting for the caretakers. Lurking in the hiding place, Madeline and Mina see creepy creatures emerge from the woods. They stand near the trees, watching the observation window in the bunker, where only 2 people are visible instead of the usual 4. After carefully counting twice, the monsters scatter to search the forest for the shortage. Madeline and Mina take advantage of the moment and run to the door. They convince Daniel to break the rules and open it. Mina talks about her mother's death, which was her fault, in order to gain his trust and press her guilt. The emotional pressure works, and they are let in. Madeline realizes that breaking the rules is fraught with consequences and tells them to line up near the mirror. At the same time, she reveals that she has been hiding some unpleasant information from her fellow travelers. Studying mythology, Madeline voluntarily came to this forest. Here she encountered fairies, but not from Disney Studio cartoons, but real ancient creatures, copying humans. So they observed them through the glass, studying them to adopt their habits. In confirmation of her words, there is a knock on the door, and then Ciara's voice from outside repeats the dialogue with her husband, which happened not so long ago. Following, the voices of the others present are heard repeating various overheard phrases. Suspecting that the caretakers want to break down the door, people prop it up with a table. Shifting the furniture, the prisoners notice a lid in the floor. Breaking the deadbolt, Daniel finds the trap door with a ladder down. Mina descends the stairs. The others follow, closing the lid just before the caretakers break the mirrored wall. A staircase leads the fugitives to an arranged laboratory that looks like a bomb shelter. Whoever lived here studied the caretakers. Mina sees a working computer where Professor Rory's video reports are stored. The scientist talks about not only studying the caretakers, but also about building a fortified bunker, hiring poor labourers from various cities, then sacrificing them to the monsters outside. The professor managed to trap one of the creatures in a cage. Mina opens the last recorded video to learn that the scientist became attached to the captive fairy, after which he decided to kill her and then himself. Lastly, the professor reveals that he left a boat on the river near one of the signs. It is possible to get out of the forest by following the direction of the bird's movement. If successful, he asks to destroy his research left at the university. Together, they decide to set out in the morning. Ciara decides to celebrate the last night in captivity with a dance, for which she engages Daniel. During the dance, he tells her about his abusive father, who beat him, and because of this the young man ran away from home and ended up in the forest. In the morning, the captives go upstairs. The building has lost its former appearance. The glass is broken and the door is smashed. Realizing there's nothing more to do, they set off. They follow the marks left by Mina during the mapping. Along the way, Madeline reminds them that the forest will try to trick them, so they need to be vigilant. Soon, they reach the sign they are looking for. Mina pulls a parrot out of its cage to point the way with its avian sense of magnetic fields. The bird obediently flies forward, leading the bipeds. They reach a stone burial ground depicting mythical fairies. Madeline recalls a historical legend in which the monsters lost a war with humans by remaining prisoners of this forest. The walk ceases to be pleasant when it starts to rain, and they encounter a flock of birds that leave the dangerous surroundings for the night. It is getting dark, and the fairies get out of their holes. The humans reach the riverbank and find the boat left behind by the professor. They run to it. When John calls Daniel's name and asks for help, the women don't notice the guy lagging behind. He pulls a wounded John out of the forest, who actually turns out to be a fairy shapeshifter who has taken his form. The monster kills the young man right in front of the women leaving in the boat, and then takes his form. Looking back at the shore, the fugitives see dozens of other imitators coming out of the forest, creepy in their unnaturalness and dissatisfied with their lost prey. The boat floats all night on the river. When Mina wakes up in the morning, she sees a bridge where a bus is travelling. Waiting for the next one, the women ask for a ride, still not believing they have escaped. Even the faithful parrot has returned to its cage. After reaching home, Mina takes a shower and remembers the past, a terrible accident from her childhood that took her mother's life. The next day, Mina goes to the university. Introducing herself as Professor Rory's niece, she collects his tapes. On one of the tapes, the scientist tells that in addition to pure-blooded fairies, there were half-breeds, hybrids with humans, also able to change appearance and even pretend to be objects. Looking at the pictures, the girl sees something that surprises her. In the evening, Mina goes to visit Ciara. She shows her old photos of the professor dancing with his wife Madeline, who died long before the bunker was built. Mina believes that the Madeline they know is a caretaker with immunity to sunlight. When the real Ciara appears, it is revealed that Mina has been talking to the disguised Madeline. The caretaker deprives the mistress of her senses and takes over Mina's appearance, intending to take her identity. The girl convinces her that she's not really just a fairy, but a human hybrid. Hence her ability to tolerate sunlight, her penchant for compassion, and the fact that the other monsters don't take her for their own. In the end, the caretaker involuntarily changes his shape, then regrows the wings long lost by his people and flies away. Afterward, Mina reconciles with her sister, telling her everything that has happened. She confesses that she believes Madeline has been secretly watching over her, changing appearance. The camera slowly pans out the window, showing the girl standing outside. The altered Madeline, like her kin, watches over Mina, and that is where the movie ends. What do you think about this movie? Write your thoughts about the movie in the comments. If you liked my short retelling, then put likes and subscribe to not miss new videos. See you soon.